Hey guys, welcome back. Here's another Dark Magician girl deck profile. There's been some cards that have been released, and I've also just switched around some cards in this deck. Obviously, um, it's not that different from how it was before. Um, it's got the three Dark Magicians. Obviously, you want the three Dark Magicians. Three Magician of Dark Illusion. This card's pretty good with rank 7 plays and Summon Sorceress plays. You want three Apprentice Illusion Magician for rank 6 plays, and because she's just a body you can summon. Um, I'm going with three Dark Magician Girl now. I was previously running two. I want three in the deck now just because the new card that came out. I'll show you. Um, I'm running one Elemental Hero Prisma, just because to dump things and for fusion plays. I'm running two Chocolate Magician Girl now. This card is actually really good for like getting through your deck and stuff, and just protection. I'm running one Summoner Monk like I was before. I'm running triple of the Rod. That's a staple. I was previously running the Robe in the main deck, but with Downbeat. Um, but I decided to take those two out to add in another Prisma and add in Prisma back because I had previously took him out, and then Raigeki as well. I'm running two of the Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, or Blue Boy, I guess you could call him. This guy's just another normal summon in the deck, just to deck then, and he's got a lot of good synergy with the deck. I'm running two of the Itemize. You can run three. I don't want to run three because I don't want to clog, but you can run three. There's plenty of targets for it. I'm running one of the Dark Magic Attack. You can run more of this now. There's plenty of options to search it, like with Eternal Soul in the new card. I'll get to that later. Obviously, the one Raigeki. I'm running two of the Knowledge. This obviously you run two Knowledge if you're running two Blue Boy, and then two Secrets as well. Two of the Veil. You can run three Veil. That's perfectly fine. It's not a dead card at all. One of the Monster Reborn. If you're not running this card in 2019, it's you need to be running this card. And here's the new card. It's the bond between teacher and student. This card's pretty new, at least to this deck. If you control a Dark Magician, you can summon a Dark Magician Girl. So it's basically like a reverse Sage of Stone, but it's like way better than Sage of Stone because Dark Magician is way easier to get out on the field, as well as the fact that like you get to set a Dark Burning Magic, a or a Dark Magic Attack, or a Dark Burning Twin Burst or whatever. You basically get to set one of the one of the support cards that like does board wipe and stuff, which is your Dark Magic Attack or your Dark Burning Magic. And if you don't know what this card does, basically if you control Dark Magician Girl and Dark Magician, you get to nuke your opponent's board. And this card is your basically your wind condition. Once you get this off, unless they have some kind of protection against it, you basically just win the match in a lot of situations. Or it's just, if they're nuking your board, you just activate this and then you nuke their board right back. So I'm running two of this. You can run three. It's totally plausible to run three. It is a kind of dead card because you do need Dark Magician on the field, but it's also discard fodder for Summoner Monk, so you can run three. This card, I previously wasn't running it. I was running I don't think I showed this, but I was running previously one Kiwi Magician Girl, just for the power boost for Dark Magicians, and she's supposed to protect. I think she's bugged on this game, but she doesn't protect. But I traded her out for Dark Magic Expand because in this deck she can only give you like 900 points of attack points, and she only protects and she only pumps Dark Magician Girl, and I guess Chocolate Magician Girl as well. But that's not really worth it, so I decided to put this in the spot that she was taking. This card's got three effects depending on the number of Dark Magicians and Dark Magician Girls on the field or in either player's graveyard. I've been playing tag teams with my buddy against some people, and we've been like running this deck together. Like we've both been running the same deck, and so like I realized that this card would come in way more handy because like the first effect is spellcaster. A dark spellcaster monster gains 1,000 attack, which most of the deck is dark spellcasters, so that's good. The second effect is if you have two or more of the dark magicians or dark magician girls, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to your spell and trap cards activation. Also, spell and trap cards you control cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects, and that's pretty boss, especially when they're going to destroy your Eternal Soul or something. And the third effect is dark spellcaster monsters you currently control are unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of this turn, and that's pretty boss as well, especially because Dark Magician Girl doesn't have a lot of protection by herself, and so this card actually helps a lot. I'm thinking about maybe adding another one, but there's not really a lot of room in the deck because obviously it's at 46 cards, and I don't really want to take anything out because a lot of it's essential. I'm running one of the Dark Magic Inheritance. This card, any more than this and it gets kind of cloggy. The spellbooks do help a lot actually, because like you summon this guy, search secrets, and then search knowledge and get 2 more cards, and then you have 2 spells in the graveyard for inheritance, so you can search like a circle or something, or one of your combo pieces. So it does help. You can run it at 2. 3 is definitely too much though. So if you're going to run this card at more than 1, definitely don't run it at 3. I'm running 1 Illusion Magic. This card does come in handy. I was previously running, like when I first started playing Dark Magicians and this card wasn't out, I would run like that one card that searches like a level 5 or higher normal monster. I forget what it's called, but I would run that card. But this card is basically a searchable version of that, and you get 2 Dark Magicians from the deck or the graveyard, so you can recycle your Dark Magicians. It also protects this guy from like some stuff. Like if you summon him and then you activate this, when they target him with something like Fetus Chain or whatever, he kind of dodges it. But it's not that often that happens. So, and you contribute like one of your Chocolate Magician Girl or your Spell Magician of Prophecy as well to get some Dark Magicians. But the reason why this is in the deck is because it's searchable. It's searchable Dark Magician sort of. And then obviously the 1 Dark Burning Magic. This card is amazing. If you're running a Dark Magician Girl deck, you need to run at least 1. I don't know if you want more than 1, because you do get this card decent amount. Like you will get this card as much as you need it. If you need it, it is a Dark Magician card, so you will be able to search it. You will be able to search it off of Inheritance. You can get it off Bond Between Teacher and Student. You can get it off of like Circle. You can get it from Rod. So there's pretty much no reason why you want to run more than 1. I mean, you can run 2, but you definitely don't want to run 3. It's one of those cards. It's like you only need 1. I mean, you can run multiple Dark Magic attacks as well. This card, I feel like, any more than 2, I think, though, is also another one of those things that's you really don't want to run more than 2. Obviously, you're gonna want 3 of the Circle. This card is like a staple. 3 of lets you banish, like once per turn when you summon a Dark Magician, it lets you banish a card on the field, and that's extremely important in this deck because you're going to summon a lot of Dark Magicians, and being able to just +1 your opponent's and banish their cards like once per turn is really powerful, especially if it's played as well. You get to add, you get to excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, obviously, and if there's 1 Dark Magician card among them or Dark Magician, you can add to your hand, so that's another like +1. So this card, it starts to add up, as the turns go on. And if your opponent doesn't get rid of this card, they will, you really will start to whittle down their cards. And especially like if you have Dark Magic attack, you can just target their front row with the Circle and just rip apart. Unless something is, unable to be targeted or, unable to be banished, then they have a protection against it. But generally, cards, there's not very many cards, I don't feel like, that are unable to be targeted or unable to be banished. I feel like a lot of cards just protect from destruction or monster effects, so this card gets around a lot of that. So yeah, you want three of them. Definitely want three. You know, because you can search it, but this card also, like, people will destroy it, and so you're gonna want more. I would run more if you could run more, but you can't. So, um, triple of the navigation. This card also gets you any of this top row right here, or like a summoner monk. Um, but it's another one of those cards that gets you some pluses, I guess. It also has its secondary effect where you can banish it from the graveyard to negate some back row, and that's kind of important in a deck like this where you're running Eternal Soul, because Eternal Soul, when it leaves the field while face up, it nukes your board, and that's kind of sucky, but the card's so good that it's worth the risk. But this card lets you like negate like the MSTs in the back row that would destroy your Eternal Soul, which is nice. Obviously, the Eternal Soul is ran at 2. I'm not running 3 because this is a Dark Magician Girl build, and the Eternal Soul can get cloggy because there's plenty of options to search it. There is a soft lock in this deck where you will have like Eternal Soul on the field and Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, with this card. Your opponent cannot target or destroy your back row. And this, obviously this card becomes Dark Magician while it's on the field, so it gets protected by Eternal Soul's protection effect, where Dark Magician cards are unaffected by other card effects, by opponent's card effects, actually. So, it's like a soft lock. I've had, just recently I was tag teaming with my buddy, and we had this soft lock up, and the enemy just couldn't do anything because, unless they can giant Trunade you. But I mean, I think this card makes it unaffected. You can't target or destroy. So the giant Trunade would have gotten him out, but the giant Trunade is banned. But I am running pretty standard Dark Paladin just for some negates and spell card negates. If you have tons of cards in your hand, you can go for the Dark Paladin. He'll also get pumped for dragons. But generally, you're going to want to just summon this guy because of his protection effect. I'm also running the new Dark Cavalry. I don't know if I was running this in my previous build that I posted. But, he's a Dark Magician and a Warrior. He gains 100 attack for each spell and trap card on the field and the graveyards. So he's sort of like an upgraded version of Amulet Dragon in a sense. He also like has piercing damage, and if a card or effect is activated that targets a card on the field, you can discard a card to negate the activation if you do destroy that card. So he's kind of like a mix between Dark Paladin and Amulet Dragon, which is good. You don't want to summon him all the time unless you're, if you're playing the mirror match, obviously you want to summon this guy to counter the circle and whatnot. But and I'm also running one Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. You don't have to summon this card. This card's not like, it's not in here for you to summon it per se. It's also in here, for Prisma, for Prisma targets, to dump a Dark Magician Girl and use like Veil or like Monster Reborn to get her back or something. But yeah, I'm running the Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. Just one of each. You only really need one. You could run 2 of this guy, but you might not summon him. There's only 2 of the Itomias, so. One Red Ice Flare Metal Dragon. Obviously, it's a level 7 deck. You're going to run this guy. On Big Eye, you're also going to run this guy. He's also another staple in level 7 decks. 2 of the Ebon Illusion Magician. You could run this guy at 3. He's really easy to summon because of all the level 7s and level 6s. I'm also running Dorito the Moral Leader for the same reason, because I'm running level 6 spellcasters, and he can just be bumped right up to level 7 with this guy's effect, because you can also exceed him onto a rank 6. I'm running one Ebon High Magician. I don't really summon this guy very much. You don't have to run him. You can just run like, 2 level 6s or something, or rank 6s, instead of the Ebon High Magician. But he does come in handy sometimes when your opponent has a lot of back row control. In terms of MSTs and stuff, you don't really want to play your stuff, so you summon this guy. And then the Narito, the Moral Leader. Obviously, this guy negates spell and trap cards, which is nice. Running one Baguska. I don't really have to say anything about this card. He's pretty much a staple. You could also run Tornado Dragon in its place. Both are like equally viable. You're not really going to be summoning this guy very much, unless you use Summoner Monk's effect on like one of these guys and you decide not to keep him on the field. And then you just summon this guy. One Skull Dread. There are a lot of cards that become Dark Magician in this deck, so you don't summon this card very much. But this deck does swarm pretty easily. Once things get going, you summon a lot of monsters, you get some pluses, and then you swarm pretty easily. So he does come in handy, especially for the deck thinning, and to get more cards on the field because of his second effect to let you special summon. So he comes in handy a lot, and your pumping effect as well, because Dark Magician is pretty hefty. 2,500 plus the Dark Magician Girl as well. When you have three Dark Magicians in the graveyard plus this guy, she gets up to like 32, and then when she's pumped by this, she's 35 plus like this. She gets like 45, so she gets pumped by quite a lot. And this is a Dark Magician Girl deck, so you want your Dark Magician Girl to be the main focus. Here is Summon Sorceress. Obviously, I'm running a deck mostly consisting of spellcasters. There's literally just one warrior. So Summon Sorceress is the type of monster in the deck, especially considering that there's a lot of level 6s and level 7s. You can have a Dark Magician on the field and then use your effect to get a Magician of Dark Illusion, and then make a rank 7 for like Ebon, and then go for another Dark Magician. And then if you have a circle in the field, you can trigger that effect. So just like plenty of pluses when you play her. I'm running one Apprentice Witchling. You can run like multiples of this card. This card's pretty good in this deck. There's a lot of darks. There's a fair amount of like non-darks though. There's like 4 waters and then a light as well. So you can run like the Spellbook card, or the Prophecy card. That's rank 2 as well. That card's also pretty good in this type of deck, because I'm running just 3 of the Spellbook cards. But for some reason, Eye of Timaeus can be searched off of like the Spellbook cards. It's really weird. I don't know if it's a bug or it's intended. If it's intended, that's really weird. But anyways, you can run that over this. I prefer this because it just pumps my monsters and stuff, and the Spellbook card has only 0 attack points, so it's really a target. And then 1 Link Spider, because I'm running the 3 Dark Magicians and they're normals. So if you have like 2 Dark Magicians and then like a Dark Magician Girl and then like a Rod, you can go for this and then go for Skull Dread. So I don't know if you can see the side deck. I think it might be cut off, but I'm running triple Ash Blossom, double Ghost Ogre, 1 Robe, 2 Downbeat, triple Call by the Grave, 2 Secret Village of the Spellcasters, and then Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning. This is just a side deck, so it's just my preferences. These are just cards like... A lot of my side decks are really just cards that I'm thinking about, like adding in, or I've just recently taken out. I'll just put them in the side deck so I don't forget about them. But this is actually like a real side deck. Anyways, this is my Dark Magician Girl deck from 2019. It is April now. I haven't uploaded in a while, but I I really like this deck, Dark Magician Girl and Dark Magician. Obviously, you know, I have a lot of videos on Dark Magician, so it's one of my favorite cards in the game. It's one of my favorite archetypes. I'm really excited when they add new support for the Dark Magician because, you know, the deck is ever evolving, the game is ever evolving. Um, anyways, this is my deck. Um, Thanks for watching. If you did, let me know what you think. Uh, Leave a comment if you have any other ideas that I could add, maybe make the deck better, more synergy, stuff like that. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.